Keir Starmer's leadership is on increasingly shaky ground, with questions about Rachel Reeves's future as Labour's Chancellor escalating into a full-blown political storm. The situation came to a head during a tense interview with GB News' Christopher Hope, where Starmer sidestepped a direct question about whether Reeves would remain in her position come the next general election. This moment of evasion has ignited speculation about her role within the party and cast a shadow over Labour's promise of economic stability. The clip of Starmer's response has already gone viral, sparking outrage, analysis, and no small amount of ridicule. Christopher Hope's probing was as direct as it gets. "The pound is down, the economy is flatlining," he pressed. "Will Rachel Reeves still be your Chancellor at the next election?" Starmer's reply was anything but definitive. He pivoted to fiscal rules and long-term strategies, leaving the actual question conspicuously unanswered. While his remarks about creating the conditions for growth may have been intended to project confidence, they instead raised doubts about Labour's economic leadership. This evasive moment couldn't have come at a worse time. The UK economy is under significant strain, with borrowing costs soaring to their highest levels since 2008. The pound has slumped to $1.21, its lowest level against the dollar since November 2023, and 10-year gilt yields have reached 4.89%, with 30-year gilts hitting a staggering 5.5%. These figures spell disaster for government finances and have intensified the scrutiny on Rachel Reeves. Critics within Labour and the wider political arena are now questioning whether she is the right person to steer the country through its economic challenges. Emma Wall, an economist at Hargreaves Lansdown, put the issue bluntly, suggesting that the UK's position is uniquely vulnerable due to domestic policy decisions. "It's not just global factors at play here," she said. "Policy choices have exacerbated inflationary pressures and heightened market anxieties." Her remarks reflect a growing consensus among financial experts that Reeves's £40 billion tax hikes from last year's budget might have been a misstep, fueling inflation rather than curbing it. Starmer's apparent unwillingness to unequivocally back Reeves has added fuel to the fire. The appointment of Olaf Henriksen-Bell, a former Treasury official with ties to 3 Conservative chancellors, has been viewed as a significant undermining of Reeves's authority. Henriksen-Bell's resume, which includes serving as a senior advisor to Philip Hammond, Sajid Javid and Rishi Sunak, has drawn criticism from within Labour ranks. Many see this as a sign that Starmer is quietly laying the groundwork for a shift in the party's economic strategy, possibly without Reeves at the helm. Adding to the drama, insiders suggest that Starmer is under pressure to bring in a chief economic advisor, which would further dilute Reeves's influence. This move, while potentially reassuring to the markets, could deepen divisions within Labour's ranks. Critics argue that these behind-the-scenes manoeuvres are eroding confidence in the party's leadership at a time when unity is desperately needed. Public reaction to Starmer's interview has been swift and merciless. Social media erupted with criticism, with many users interpreting his dodge as a lack of confidence in Reeves. One commenter wrote, "If Starmer can't commit to his own chancellor, how can we trust Labour with the economy?" Another pointed out the optics of Henriksen-Bell's appointment, tweeting, "Labour is bringing in ex-Tories to fix their mess. What does that say about their leadership?" Even within Labour, murmurs of dissent are growing louder. A senior Labour MP, speaking anonymously, expressed frustration at the party's adherence to rigid fiscal rules, which they argue leave little room for meaningful economic reform. "We've boxed ourselves in," the MP said. "Rachel's trying her best, but the situation is dire. Keir needs to make some tough decisions. And soon." The Conservatives, meanwhile, are seizing the opportunity to pile on the pressure. Shadow Financial Secretary Gareth Davies didn't mince words, accusing Labour of losing control of the economy. "This crisis was made in Downing Street by Rachel Reeves," he declared. "Labour promised stability, but they've delivered chaos." Prime Minister Rishi Sunak also weighed in during a recent event promoting AI development, taking a thinly veiled swipe at Starmer. "Leadership is about making tough decisions and standing by your team," he said. "The British people deserve a government they can trust." But it's not just Reeves and Starmer who are facing backlash. Labour's proposed workers' rights reforms have sparked fresh controversy, with critics warning that the new rules could stifle free speech in public spaces like pubs. Under the proposed legislation, employers could be held responsible for harassment stemming from overheard conversations about contentious topics such as religion and transgender rights. The Equality and Human Rights Commission has cautioned that these regulations could have unintended consequences, forcing business owners to police customer conversations to avoid legal action. Industry leaders are raising red flags. Kate Nichols of UK Hospitality called the proposed rules complex legal issues that employers are not equipped to navigate. The British Beer and Pub Association warned of potential overreach, arguing that the legislation could place an unfair burden on pub workers and create a chilling effect on free speech. The controversy has further muddied the waters for Labour, with critics questioning whether the party is losing focus on the issues that matter most to voters. As all this unfolds, Starmer's insistence on adhering to fiscal rules remains a sticking point. While his commitment to economic stability is laudable in theory, it has left Labour with little flexibility to address the immediate challenges facing the UK. Critics argue that this rigidity is hampering the party's ability to offer bold, transformative solutions, a key promise of their campaign. Rachel Reeves, for her part, has vowed to take action to meet her fiscal rules, but the specifics of her plan remain unclear. Her allies argue that she is being unfairly scapegoated for global economic pressures, pointing out that rising borrowing costs are affecting other European nations as well. However, this defence hasn't been enough to quell doubts about her leadership. The stakes couldn't be higher for Starmer and Labour. With the next general election looming, their handling of the economy will be a defining issue. Any sign of disarray, whether real or perceived, could prove devastating to their chances of reclaiming power. Starmer's reluctance to fully back Reeves, combined with the controversies surrounding Labour's economic policies and social reforms, has left the party in a precarious position. Behind closed doors, discussions about a potential reshuffle are reportedly gaining traction. Starmer's allies argue that bringing in fresh faces and new expertise could strengthen Labour's economic team, but such a move would come with risks, potentially alienating Reeves's supporters and deepening divisions within the party. For now, Starmer seems determined to weather the storm, banking on his long-term vision to win over voters. But as borrowing costs climb, business confidence falters, and public scepticism grows, the clock is ticking. Labour's promise of stability is being put to the ultimate test, and whether they can deliver remains to be seen. Keir Starmer's handling of this crisis will likely define his leadership. If he can navigate these turbulent waters and restore confidence in Labour's economic strategy, he could emerge stronger. But if the cracks continue to widen, this scandal could prove to be a turning point, not just for Rachel Reeves, but for the entire Labour Party. As the drama unfolds, one thing is clear: the road to the next election just got a lot bumpier. Stay tuned.